Hello, fellow rock lovers. Check these out. These are two West Texas agates that my wife Kendra found while we were rock hounding near Alpine. We were in the shop cutting a bunch of rocks, doing our Great Kendra Scott Rock Off video series. That's where we take a rock that she finds and we compare it to a rock that I find. We cut them in half and see which one's prettier on the inside. Well, once we had finished with the main filming, she grabbed a few of her rocks that she did not want to enter. She said, "Hey, Scott, just cut these open. Let's see if these were anything interesting." So I did, and sure enough, this one, was a beauty. Look at that banding. I had to make fun of her. I said, "Kendra, had you entered this one, you clearly would have won." And this little guy here, well, also very nice. Look at that. Sort of like eyebrows. Yeah. Well, anyway, she was bummed out that she didn't pick these to enter into the contest, but I told her we can still turn these into a video, which is what we're going to do. We're going to take 1/2 of each one of these. Let me see if I can hold them. There we go. And do a face polish. Maybe these two here. We'll just get it nice and flat and shiny. And then we'll take the other halves, let's say these two here, and we'll throw them in the rock tumbler and see how well they'll tumble and polish. And once we're done, we'll be able to compare the face polished versus the tumbled. See which one we like better. Ooh, now that I look at these two, this one will probably be the face polish because tumbling this one with those deep little valleys there is going to take a lot longer than this one. Anyway, I'll decide all that once I get in the shop. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to get these face polished and tumbled. We'll see which we like better. So follow me into the shop and I'll get started with the face polishing, hey, and the tumbling. It's time for a quick update. The two rocks I decided to throw in the coarse grit are finished with the tumbling. Well, the coarse grit tumbling anyway. And as you can see, I didn't make them perfect, but I got them much smoother. Since these are Kendra's rocks, I decided to tumble them her way, which means not flawless. These are close though. There are still some minor issues. That one looks like it has some pink in it. You see that? These should be pretty once we get the polish put on them. I think so anyway. How will they compete against the face polished brothers of theirs? What do you think? That's what we're going to find out. Now let's get back in the shop and I'll start working on the face polishing of the other halves of these two. Okay, let's get started. We'll use the 60 grit disc to get it really nice and flat. Now here's how they look. Well, they're flat. Lots of scratches, but we'll take care of those. Next up, let's double the grit, 120. And now, after 120 grit, yep, the big scratches are gone. Looking good. Let's double the grit again, this time 240. Spend a few minutes here. Now check it out. After 240 grit, there's a slight shine. That's a good sign. Our next grit is 400. What will this do for us? Okay, now after 400 grit, well, we're getting a better shine. Let's move on now to the soft-backed discs. This is 600 grit. Here I can push down hard. And now after the 600 grit, there you go. The reflection's starting to come through. Let's double that and go to 1200 grit. Again, on the soft-backed disc. These are foam-backed. Now after 1200 grit, there you go. Shine's looking good. Time to move on to the 3000 grit. And after 3000 grit, we have, check it out. Good shine, right? Okay, our last one is the 1 micron or 14,000 grit. Now for the final polish. There you go. It glows in the light. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and move back inside and continue this little contest. The polishing is complete. Now it's decision time. Which half do we like better? The one that was rock tumbled and polished, or the one that was just face polished? Let's begin with, let's say, the tumbled rocks here. Let's look at these. Okay, what do we think? This one, oh, look at that. Pinkish color in there. That we would not have seen were it not rock tumbled. So that's a plus. Of course, the cut side has a beautiful polish on it as well. Nice banding. Lovely little rock right there. I think you will agree. And the smaller one, all tumbled and polished. Not a flawless tumble, but we know that's the way some people, aka my wife Kendra, like their rocks. And that's okay. Ooh, hard to hold. Overall, I think these are very nice. And as a longtime rock tumbler, I think I'm going to prefer these, but I'll keep an open mind. Let's check the other halves. These are the halves that were just face polished. Nice flat polish. I like that. The exterior, well, it's very natural. And there are people who appreciate that. I'm one of them. I do like the natural look, sure. But I also like the polished look. Let's look at these now. Good shine. What does that detail look like compared to the tumbled and polished ones? Well, I think it looks very nice. And I do enjoy the contrast between that and that. That is a cool contrast. I hope you agree. There you see that nearly flat surface there with the brilliant polish and then the exterior. So that's a good look. Now, which one do we like better? Let's start with this one here. These are hard to hold. As far as the cut surface goes, I think I prefer the one on the right because it's more of a flat polish, which is, well, for one thing, it's harder to do, but I think it looks better than the tumbled polish, which obviously is more rounded. Now, as far as the rest of the rock, well, I got to go with the tumbled one because, as I said earlier, now we've got that color that we can see, which we were not able to see without that initial coarse grit grinding. This is going to be a tough call. Let's look at the other one. Maybe that will help us decide. So we had the cut surface and, well, once again, I think I prefer this one, which is a flat polish. To my eye, anyway, that's a good looking effect. Now, this one's not bad, but as you can see, it's very rounded. And it also drops. Come here. Here it is. What about the rest of the rock? Well, yeah, again, as a longtime rock tumbler, I do prefer this style here, where the whole thing is smooth and polished. Not just because it brings out all those details. It's just I like the shine all over. This isn't awful. I mean, that's cool looking right there, and I know people are into that. Which one do I like better? I'm going to go with the, let's put them like this. I think that the tumbled and polished stones are slightly ahead of the face polished ones. It's hard to hold these things. Let's see if I can get that like that there. That's my analysis. I'm curious to know what yours is. But to my eye, I prefer these. Thank you so much for watching. This was fun to do. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you like videos like these, check my playlist. I've got lots more of these lapidary videos for you to enjoy. Thanks again for watching.